Once there was a man who was industrious. He lived in India. He started a hat business. And pretty soon, with his marketing experience and his hard work ethic, he had sold hats in this town over here and that town over there, and even all the way to Bangalore. He had lived anywhere near Bangalore. Well, he had this big order for hats in Bangalore. He had to leave his small town. He had a lot of hats. Put them in a sack and threw them over his shoulder and started off towards Bangalore. And there he's walking. And he walks through the swamps. And then he walks through the desert. And it is really hot. As he gets out of the desert, he comes to the jungle. And he thinks, I can rest now under the shade of a beautiful tree. Fan myself, maybe take a little nap. Still got a ways to go. So he puts down his sack of hats. And he sits down. He leans up against that tree and he commences to take a nap. Eventually, he wakes himself up with a snoring. And he thinks, well, I feel better. I guess I can go on. And he looks for his sack. And it's there, but it's flat. Not a hat in it. And he looks down to the trail this way. He does not see any footprints. And he looks to the trail that way. He does not see any footprints. He thinks, who in the living daylights will go all the way out here into the jungle to steal my hats? He looks this way, the way he come. No footprints. Looks behind him. No footprints. He looks up, and there in the tree were monkeys. Monkeys everywhere. They had on yellow hats and blue hats and red hats, and tall hats and short hats and big fat hats. And they were just going, looking at him. And he says, give me my hats. And the monkeys looked down at him and went like this. They shook their finger right back at him. He says, I want my hats. And the monkeys looked down at him and did boom, 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 like that. And they giggled. And then he says, I'm so mad. He can't get the hats back. All this work. And he finally takes his own hat off and he throws it on the ground and says, Dad, blame it. And all the monkeys threw the hats back. And he reached around, grabbed them, put them in the sack, and off he went. 40 years goes by. It's a snake. 40 years goes by. His grandson gets the business. Now he has loved his grandfather all of his life. And he has sat at the feet of his grandfather to learn the business thoroughly. And know all about the customers and where the trails are and where the best business is. And his yearly order comes from Bangalore. He knows all about Bangalore. He knows it's a really big order. So he packs up the hats, puts them on a sack, and he takes off, and he walks through the swamplands. And then he walks through the desert, and he gets to sweat. And he thinks, I'll do like my grandpa did. I'll rest in the jungle. So he sees a tree. He goes over there and he puts his hats down real close to him. He snuggles up to that tree. He snores worse than Grandpa. And he sleeps a really long time. Eventually he wakes himself up. He goes to grab his hats. His bag is flat. And he looks the way he came. Nobody went. No footprints. He looks behind him. No footprints. He looks over here. no footprints. He thinks, who could have stolen my hats? Looks that way, no footprints. And then he thinks and he looks up, and there is a tree full of monkeys. And they've got on pink hats and yellow hats and blue hats and big fat hats and little skinny hats and hats of all kinds. And he remembers the story of his grandfather, and he says, give me my hats. And all the monkeys go just like that. He says, I want my hats. And all the monkeys go. And he takes his hat off. He says, Dad, blame it. And nothing happens. Big monkey climbs down the tree, reaches over, puts his hand on his shoulder. He says, you think you're the only one with a grandpa?